Hey guys, Tamar, Fidget Mom here. Today I'm talking about scams. I'm gonna be holding my phone a little bit differently for all those Instagrammers who don't like the other way it's situated, but you get a little bit of deviation here. And I'm also wearing something to talk about the fact that I am in search of fidget toys that have color in them. Just learns about some new confetti type products, so really excited about that. And this is my way of saying, hey, if you have anything, hook me up, please. But I want to talk really quickly about something that I think is really important, and that's about being scammed. I've been around Facebook for since Facebook was open only to college students. You can go to my URL at facebook.com slash Tamar Weinberg or fb.me slash 102991. Yes, if you know you're right now, any new accounts are probably like 15, 16 digits after the facebook.com. I'm 102991. That's 6 digits. The 4 digits were only for Harvard kids. And then when they were open as to other Ivies, of which I was had just graduated, I was able to secure a really early account. So I've been on Facebook for almost 21 years, and I've been on eBay since 1999 as a seller. You can check out my eBay profile. You can also find out that I'm a seller on Facebook. Now, I'm not a seller in the fidget world yet because I don't think I want to get rid of any of my fidget toys. I'm sorry. But who knows what's going to happen and when and where. But I want to talk about the value that I see in the community right now is the rules that they have. If you're trying to sell something, the expectation is that you put your products on a piece of paper or on your desk, and then you number them, and then you identify which each one is, and then you might not necessarily know the material, but you can say, hey, this is the Magnus beans or whatever, the Fidget Boy slider, and here's the price, and then you put your name, and then you put the date. Now, I didn't know anything about this until I met Pranav on, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If not, I apologize, on Reddit, where I basically, thanks to you, I've been sucked into this whole, this thing is very powerful. This, obviously, you update as the post, as your post evolves, and as you sell, and as potentially you still are selling, you update the dates, because yes, people are likely to steal your image and then sell it and claim it as their own, and then could potentially scam you, and that happens. So that happened to me twice already. In one group, this guy decided to steal Jason, the Fidget Boy himself, his image, and he warns me, and so did the admin of the Fidget group, so the Fidget sales group. So I think it's really important for you guys to be really careful. And double check that it's their name is on it and the date is accurate and it's not, and it matches. The other thing you want to get is vouchers. So especially if you're new, now I can tell you, my friend Andrew, who gave me a voucher already, we've gone to college, we know each other face to face. We spent 3 years in college together because I graduated just a little earlier. I think he can vouch for me, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, vouchers are seriously important when it comes to selling, or otherwise you want to start with selling via goods and services first, and the buyer will take the seller will take a hit. They'll whatever it is. It's not too. It's like 3.4% plus 30 cents now, or something like that these days. That's nobody really wants to have to pay an extra fees. I mean, they're paying shipping, they're doing all this other stuff. So friends and family is the way to go. So vouchers are the way to avoid that, because it's just an inherent sense of trust. And if somebody says I trust that this person is I've done business with them, they're reliable, then that's perfect. That's a blessing. That blessing works, and I have no problem buying friends and family from people. Of course, there are times when people will ask of that of you and not have any vouchers. And that guy, that shady dude who got kicked out of the group, that happened. But today I was looking for something colorful, and some dudes slide into my DMs. Very odd, because he was elderly. I mean, the image of him made him look like he was probably in his 80s. Now, that's not to say, I'm not insulting the guy. I mean, I have parents who are a little younger than that. So, I mean, I know what 80s people look like. This happened to me also in another group. I didn't realize it was predominantly not US dominated, but I was looking for an audio equipment, and something that's very rare, so rare that, they haven't made it since 2017. Now you could still buy it from their website, but it's like back ordered, and then there's this and there's that, and it's also, the cost is ridiculous on the website. But I posted in this group, and within 5 minutes, 3 people had said to me, "Oh, I have the product." Anyway, 2 people had given me they highballed me, and I didn't. Those offers were insane, so I pretty much dropped them. And the third person was also an elderly person, Jessica, who's changed his profile photo. Yes, I did say what I said. That was very sketchy to me. I mean, I don't know. I have no problem with you naming your kid Apple or Banana, but I don't know any males named Jessica. I do know plenty of Jessies, but I don't know any male named Jessica. So this profile was all really weird. Stuff did not add up. And yet I decided to indulge and follow, see how that went. And this Jessica person was playing me as I was playing him, her, them, I don't know. And wouldn't stop nagging me about it. I knew it was a scam. That they have there's a certain way to it. First of all, they won't provide you with images. They'll give you an excuse. They also have this weird, at least in this case, I think it's like an Indian thing. It might be an Indian thing. I'm not entirely sure. Again, this is an Asia Pacific, seems to be an Asia Pacific added cultural thing. They use the high whatever emoji and all that other stuff. Was very, very pushy about wanting to sell to me when I kept saying, "Hey, I'm not interested. This is way too shady for me." But so I dropped it, expected to hear nothing, and then a couple hours later, heard again. A couple days later, heard again. I'm like, "No, stop it! Stop it, scammer! I'm not interested in your service. I'm just not interested. I've got it somewhere else." Okay, which I did. And she, by the way, she went out of her way. I taught her how to ship. She was selling locally, and I looked in the marketplace, and I wanted it so badly that I literally went out around the entire United States, and I changed my geography in the marketplace, which you can do. And there's a little hack to that, which I can share potentially later. But she was so honest. She said, the part of it is broken. Are you willing to do this? Blah, blah, blah. I got this fixed for you. I was a little late. I had to deal with someone who was suicidal. She was just such a pleasure to work with. And she also had she had a seller marketplace profile with 5 stars. Those are inherent vouchers. Those are the things you want to look for. You want to look for things because if you are questioning the sale and you're questioning the aggressiveness of the seller, even if they want to take a little percentage, chances are they will take a little percentage, and then you'll never hear from them again. That's all they want. They want a little bit of money. If it's for a product, $30, $50 is a big deal. A lot of money for those guys. So think about that. That happened. Rebecca got scammed with from this guy because of one of the colorful products. He did the same thing, but he took the images off of the website that was the seller had, from the store website. Couldn't, and of course, in both cases, I realized, I suspected, person kept asking me, "What's your budget? What's your budget? What's your budget?" I'm like, "What's your product? What's your product?" If I'm not telling you my budget if I don't know what you're selling. Seriously, they're selling products that are across the realm of different prices. It's like asking me, you go into a car dealership and typically, there's a wide range of cars. There's Hot Wheels to your Grand Mercedes. I don't know what your Rolls Royce, who the heck knows? Your budget can be very, 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 very broad. But I'm not gonna. It's like asking me, you say you have a car, and you're not gonna tell me what car you have. That's not how that works. It's very, very sketchy. And I said, listen, I'm not willing to tell you my budget until I see what you have to offer. And they were very They kept pushing back on that. And in Rebecca's case, I guess they're so old, or so forgetful, or so shady that they actually blocked Rebecca. Probably didn't realize that they could still see the profile, still see the messages, but had again taken the images off of the website. Could have done the same thing to me, and I would have denied it and found it that it was a scam. But fortunately, I saw through the shadiness. You ask for weird things like that, and you try to avoid protective sales, you're asking for it. The last thing, really, again, Pranav got me into this, but that was because a guy was willing to offload his fidget toys, and recently that included these magic beads that I recently bought. I have a few more, but they're all connected to things. So yeah, I got a couple more, and I didn't want to buy an ISO in search of. Those things are always, you let your guard down when you're trying to look for something like that. So this individual, Randy, aka Donna M something, actually showed me a picture with their name on a pad, and it looked a little kosher, but it ended up not being so much. The money ended up sitting in pending. It didn't go through for whatever reason. And I called the bank, and I'm like, what's going on? They're like, well, right now, and they insisted upon Zelle, and they said Zelle is under maintenance. We can't do anything about it. And I was actually a little skeptical because they asked for again a down payment. I was starting to feel a little bit weird about it, and I wanted to cancel the payment, but I couldn't do anything. So I kept calling the bank, and I didn't even ask. I didn't identify myself at that point. At that point, I was just like, is Zelle still down? And they're just like, yeah, Zelle's still down. So I didn't have to even provide my information, and fortunately, the money ended up being returned. But then this person came back to me and said, well, it sounds like the person who you stole reported the money as fraud, and that's why I didn't get paid. I'm like, well, actually, whatever it was, the money, yes. So what happened was the money sat as pending, and about 20 hours later, it got returned to me. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I will say it was the biggest blessing. I will say I've never been happier. It wasn't even a significant amount of money. Like I said, these are like little down payments, and that's what they do. They want to build faith. It's not really about building faith. It's about getting enough money just to make it look like it's all well and good. And this person has some pretty good photoshopping skills to do so. Anyway, the person kept, we ended up continuing. It was on our messages on Reddit for whatever reason stopped working because I think Reddit banned their account. But they were so confident that Reddit would be able to restore their account. Like, I just need to call someone up and they'll fix it. Okay. But then kept texting me. And I said, listen, I'm no longer interested. Please stop. Sunday, had a ton of messages from this individual. Monday, continued to do that. And then I said, listen, I'm not interested. I'm not buying from you. I know you're a scammer. I'm not willing to do it. And I'm glad that the money got returned to me. I'm not stealing other people's money. This is my business bank account. You can look. Yes. I'm writing it off as a personal expense, but it's my business bank account. And it was just so shady, so odd. Just when in doubt, follow your gut. It's all I really have to say. And when somebody is aggressive like that and they don't stop, that really says so much about the situation. So please be mindful, especially when you want something in particular that you want to have your guard up more than down, even if you're desperate and you really want it. And that's all I got to say right now. I actually did this video 4 times and it went up to 15 minutes. I'm happy that it's 13 and a half now.